am Abdul Rahman. I'm a lecturer at a public university, Kenya. I deliver lectures in computing and informatics. In our last lesson, we discussed one-dimensional array, and we have seen that actually there are three ways whereby you can actually define one-dimensional array. So, onto that particular lesson, we talked about the types of array declaration. Also, we talk about how we can actually access array element, and basically also we talk how we can insert array elements. So, in today's lesson, actually we're going to take one of those three principles and answer ourselves what are the types of array declaration. And onto that particular journey, we are going to define what is that particular operation of array declaration and what are the types themselves, and finally you are going to implement. So let's start onto that particular journey by asking ourselves what actually it is an array declaration. I found out the array actually declaration, it is actually a process of allocating memory space. That is very important. Memory space for variables to be used in a program. So when you're talking about array declaration, we are saying it is a process of allocating memory space for variable to be used on a particular program. So let's take, for example, we've got a variable of data type int, and it's called a, and it has 5 elements. So what does this mean? Actually, what it means, it tells the computer to reserve memory space of 5 allocation of data type integer. And you have seen that an integer actually stores 4 bytes. So let's conceptualize it and see what will happen. So if we've got our a here, so our a, we are going to tell our computer to allocate 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spaces. So when these particular 5 places are allocated, actually each one will have its own address, but here we are going to have what you call the base address. So if the base address, it is 220, so the next one will be 224, the next one will be 228, and the next one will be 232, the next one will be 232, 236. So this is how a declaration can be done. If it is declared in this particular manner, some memory spaces are actually allocated. So this one actually takes us to the types. So how many types, or how can we declare arrays? So basically, when we're talking about this, they can be declared actually in two. There is what you call local declaration and what you call global declaration. So let's see how the local declaration works. Basically, here we are saying, for example, if you take up an analogy, so the first one, you can say actually it is int a, and we give up the size. So how will it look like? Here we'll allocate 5 spaces, and each space will be given up a garbage value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each one will give up a garbage value. So the second way we can say it is int a, and actually we give up all the values of a, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So this basically can conceptualize it by actually giving up spaces 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here we've got a value of 10, a value of 20, 30, 40 and 50. All the values actually have been given up value on this particular declaration. The third local declaration is basically when you say int a size of 5, and actually you give 10 and 20. So what will happen here? Basically it will allocate 5 spaces, and onto that particular 5 spaces 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here we will give up a value of 10, 20, 30 and not 30, give up a value of 0, 0 and 0, not garbage value. So here we'll give up a value of 10, 20 and then the rest will be 0. So basically those are the three ways for a local variable. However, when we go back and do for the global variables, so for global variables there is only one way. We say int a 5. We have seen on a local variable give us a garbage value, but here it won't give us a garbage value. Basically it will give us initialize all the spaces to 0. So we'll have 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0. So basically that is how we declare the types of declaration of an array. We've got actually 4 types, 3 for global, for local and 1 for global. Now from here we are going to take up into our dev C++ and see how we can implement all these particular 4 concepts. So our implementation basically will implement to prove that when we declare our variable in this particular manner, we are going to get these particular default values. So we are going to use actually the 4 concepts of declaration into dev C++. So let's go to dev C++ and try to actually implement. Now, it's very important to know that if you are declaring anything global, it should be become before the main method. So here we'll have a variable called maybe global, and our variable global basically will have this particular syntax and will have the size to be 3. So that is our global variable. So here we're talking about our global variable, and then from here we are going to declare our local variables. So here we're going to declare our 3, because we've got 3, so we are going to declare our local variables. And let's see, so our first local variable, maybe we'll call it int local 1, and that particular local 1 also will give us a size of 3, and we'll leave it the way it is. And then we'll have a next one, int local 2, and in that particular local 2 we'll have given them the size is the same. However, we are going to initialize all our values inside here, and maybe we'll have 10, 20 and 30. So we'll have all the 3 values initialized, and then we'll have our int local 3 whereby we'll have also the size to be 3. By this time we are going to actually have only 2 of them, so 10 and 20. So now if you want to print each one of them, basically we just use up our printf. We are using up our printf into our printf. Basically, what are we saying? We are saying the global value and those are the global value. We are saying percentage d, percentage d, and percentage d, and these particular global values we want to access them as you have seen. So we are accessing them by saying global using up the indexes. So here we're having up the index 0 and we're having global, and then we are having our index 1 and we are having global, and we are having our index 2. So this is the code how to access our 3, and then basically we are going to have another printf, and this time in our printf we are talking about our local. So here we are having up our local 1 value, and in our local 1 value basically we are having also 3 elements. So we are printing our 3 elements, and onto that we are having our local 1, our local 1, sorry. So we are having here our local 1 which is indexed 0, and then followed by local 1 index 1, and then followed by local 1 and index 2. So basically that is it, and from there we have got our printf, and now we are having our local 2 value, and here we have got percentage d, the first item, the second item, and the third item. And basically here we are talking about local 2 position, local 2, not local 1, local 2 at index 0, and then we've got local 2 at index 1, and then we have local 2 again at index 2. So basically that is our local, the second local. So now we are coming up to the last local, so that will be printf, and that particular one give us the last part of our local. So that is a local 3 which we have defined, local 3 value, and that particular value also has got 3 items. So we are saying percentage d, first item, second item, and third item. And basically here we are talking about local 3 item index 0, which is the first item, and then local 3 index 1, and then we have the last one, which is local 3, and here it is actually index 2. So basically this is the code which you're supposed to demonstrate the types of array declaration. So let's see how, when we run this particular program, does it prove back onto this particular concept we've just discussed. So let's run this particular program. So this one gives me an error here. Let me see where the error comes from. Actually, we had local 1, index 0, index 1, index 2. So basically, let's get up printf onto local 1. So local 1, the spelling is right, or okay, here the spelling is wrong. So here local 1, then put up local 1. So I think now we'll have no problem at all. So let's execute it and run it. Yes, we have executed and run it with no problem at all. And actually we have seen that the global values, as we have discussed before, that it has all initialized to 0, 0, and the local one, it has given up a garbage value of 0, 0, 1, and then in the local 2 it has given up our initialized values, what is 10, 20, and 30, and our local value 3, it gives it up 10, 20, and the last part of it, it has actually initialized it to 0. So basically this is how you demonstrate the type of array declaration, and that makes up the end of this particular lesson. Until next lesson, we are taking up our next concept of array declaration access. How do we access array using up a loop? Thank you very much for listening. However, don't forget to subscribe into our next lesson. Bye for now.